Hey guys, welcome into another, the first episode. I don't know why I say another.
It's the very first one.
Very first episode of Slightly Serious with
Nick and Zane.
That's Nick over there. I'm Zane, and we're kind of. This is gonna be kind of a rough, start because it said this is the first episode.
It is.
So there's not really like a template to what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like we already talk about a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this for how long now? We started working together when? 2020?
Yeah, so it's probably
right when COVID hit.
The end of 2020 because we were working on the site. We weren't on regular jobs.
Yes.
So we were on the site when that started really coming up, and then it kind of like got put on the back burner for years after I left, and then we had lives and shit.
It was mainly just an idea. It was just something we kind of threw around. We were like, one day.
And then it stayed in my head a lot because I consumed a lot more like podcast content.
Yeah.
Than you did. So
yeah, podcasts were never something I actually listened to or watched at all.
Yeah, it's something I've listened to a lot of all sorts of different content, all sorts of different genre. I listen to every podcast, everything from fantasy, football, sports to comedy shit. So like
I'm a reader. So
yeah.
Just about us in general. I mean, Zane, what do you like to do?
I mean, I read occasionally. I do more audiobook. Yeah. Because of my job.
Yeah. So
being on the road and stuff, I can't really be sitting there with a book while I drive a truck. I might kill somebody.
That's true. That's not.
But I can listen to hours. I listened to books back when we were working together before.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of time just sitting around by yourself.
Yeah, you're more of the audiophile.
Yeah, it was just I had more time for it. Because even when I first started with that job, we were together. I was working 2 jobs at that time.
Yeah.
When we first started.
What else do you like to do? What are some of your other interests?
I mean, video games is the setup behind camera that's pretty much most of my time outside of work anymore. I mean, I'm not as fit as I used to be when I was playing sports and stuff and say high school and shit, but
fit has nothing to do to it. You know what I mean? It's just all about what you like to do
and
what you're about,
And you with your fucking Ollie socks.
Yes,
tell the story of the hole in your socks because they're going to point it out. They will.
You're going to see this a lot with me. I have holes in my socks, and it's always caused from my right foot. My right foot, I'm a skateboarder, so when I skateboard, it's an ollie hole. It's my foot sliding up the grip tape and scraping along, and so basically it creates a hole in my shoe, and then it goes through my shoe, and it goes through my sock, and then my foot bleeds, and I have a scar underneath each one. But yeah, so I have 2 holes in both of my socks right now, and the reason being is because they were both worn on my right foot at one point or another, so they have their little ollie holes. So I skateboard and I read incessantly.
And
I love it. It's called Veronica Decides to Die.
Veronica Decides who's that by? Let me see it.
Paula Coelho.
I saw you reading it earlier.
Yeah.
What is this even
Decides
about?
To Die. It's basically about this girl who decides she's gonna kill herself. So she tries to do it, and she does not succeed.
Oh, so it's based on her own life.
It's like
it says inspired by events in her life. Interesting. Definitely.
Paulo Coelho is the author of it. And he mentions himself occasionally in the beginning, just saying it's super. Regardless, great book. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it says here that inspired by events in his own life. Interesting. So that's definitely I know you read a lot more in my aspect would be more of abstract, more because I read fantasy mostly, mostly fantasy.
J.K. Rowling, Dune,
Dune, the whole Dune series. I love it. Big fan. Lord of the Rings. I've read all of them. The Hobbit books, all that. I've read them multiple times. Read them and listened to them. I've read them all the way through paper, and then I've also listened to them multiple times.
That's Tolkien, right? J.R.R. Tolkien?
Yeah. So I've listened to that. I've read the Harry Potter books. I've watched the movies. And I've read a couple other things like the old Aragon series.
I remember reading Aragon. I tried to read the second one too.
I read that whole series, listened to it at some point too. I read it back in high school when it was first a
thing.
Some
of those young adult books are great.
And I've listened to it more recently. Then I was also the Shannara Chronicles, very fantasy based series. It's a good series there as well. Good books. And there's a lot of things. I started reading the Game of Thrones or listening to the Game of Thrones books.
The World, Robert Jordan. Great.
I don't think I've ever.
That's pretty great.
But yeah, I currently I think my Audible has me. I think Game of Thrones is the last thing I've been listening to. I think I'm on like the third book, but it's been a minute since I actually listened to it. I want to. If I get back, I'm probably gonna start the book.
Are they Thicky McGavins? Those books?
Oh, they have. They're pretty big in general. Let me see what Audible says their like hours are,
I would
like
imagine they're pretty thick.
because they're actually they're narrated, so it's more it's like hour based. Because like Dune was like 50 hours for the first book.
Okay.
Of audio.
Wow.
So like, it's kind of crazy
That's
like that.
What, 800, 900 page book maybe.
Something like that. But like, if I look at like
maybe more.
Where's the original Dune here?
Dune.
I have so many like I did the Dark Tower series from Stephen King.
Love that. That's amazing.
That was like a 30-hour audiobook.
I want to see if I can name all the books in the dark. So you got the Gunslinger, the Drawing of the Three, Wizard and Glass, or no. The Gunslinger, the Drawing of the Three. Before Wizard and Glass is the Wastelands. The Wastelands, Wizard and Glass, and then you have. I want to say before Song of Susanna, there's one. Song of Susanna, I think, is before, but
two before
there's
Song.
Two more before Song of Susanna. So it is Gunslinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were right. You were right with Gunslinger.
Drawing of the Three.
Drawing of the Three. Wastelands. Wizard and Glass
would be number 4. Number 5 would be Wolves of the Kala.
No, that's 6.
Oh, 5. Oh, that because there's a 4. There's a 4.5.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wind Through the Keyhole.
Yeah, and then it's
Wind Through the Keyhole, but that was not written in that order. Wind Through the Keyhole was actually written after.
But story wise,
yeah. So then you have that. Then Wolves of the Kala,
and
then you have Song of Susanna, and then you have the Dark Tower.
Fun fact: Wind Through the Keyhole is the only one narrated by Stephen King himself.
Really?
Yeah. So the first couple were narrated by, it was George Guidall, and then Frank Mueller did a couple, and then
you're saying narrated as far as like read?
Yeah, read it.
Yeah. I'm not.
But then it goes back to, George Guidall again. So Frank Mueller and George Guidall do most of it. Stephen King did the Wind Through the Keyhole.
That's cool.
So the oddball one Stephen King did.
I would listen to Kurt Vonnegut narrating one of his own books.
I don't know if he does. I don't know any of his books.
That would be great. Slaughterhouse 5, Cat's Cradle, Sirens of Titan, Slapstick.
So Slaughterhouse 5 is narrated by James Franco.
Really? James Franco. Yeah. I'd listen to that.
Sirens of the Titan.
That book. I've read it so many
So it's like they have different narrators for each one for him. Yeah, I just clicked on 3 random ones, and
That's pretty cool. James Franco, read it.
3 different. Yeah, he's a different one for each one so far. I have not seen same. But yeah, so just different. Seems different people. But yeah, I do a lot more audiobook than physical. I have a harder time focusing on physical and like sitting still for a long period of time. So like this will be an interesting experiment on how I
will say
react.
I read incrementally.
I've seen you read like 5 minutes, put it right back down.
Yep, 5 minutes.
But I'm sure that comes from because you have kids, so you don't really get as much time to just sit and read. The kids go into the room, they're preoccupied for a couple minutes. You fit in a couple pages.
I do
and
that.
then you got to go check on the kids. Absolutely. Something happened. You hear some banging in the other room. You go, what the fuck just happened?
I would do it when we worked at Perfect Power Wash together. I mean,
oh yeah, just dox us with the company name. I was like purposely avoiding saying the name, and then you're just like, yeah, so we're right here. Here's the address, and this is what times we would be there.
You don't need to rewind it and figure that out.
It's fine. We'll cut it. Probably won't, but we'll definitely.
We're definitely
forget to cut that.
We're gonna cut that.
What is that wink? Your like whole face was like.
We're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut that. Cut it out.
Can you wink, or do you have that weird?
Can,
do you have that weird like your half face fucking reacts to
We're
shit?
gonna cut it.
Yeah, okay, so let's go right. Your right eye still twitches with it.
Do I twitch?
Your right eye, like now you're like staring at it, so you're not noticing. But you went like it was like you didn't fully close it,
We're
but
gonna
like
cut it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll work on it.
You'll work on it. Work on your winking. All right, that's your homework. Next episode, we'll test you.
I will be tested.
You'll just be sitting around with your girlfriend, just looking at her like, she'll be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Honey, are you having a stroke? No.
Just go with it. Just
Yeah. No.
oh fucking hell! But yeah, I mean, I said we met. So pretty much our whole storyline, like we met the beginning of COVID. We both started working at the previously mentioned that we definitely cut out name of a company, and we literally started the same day. The same day. We had orientation.
We were in orientation together. Well, we were in the group interview.
Yeah, we had the group interview. Then we did orientation
No,
a day of
I found
it.
out later on by, what was the guy's name that did our group interview? And then he wasn't there anymore and he left.
The one that went to become like the
You know what I'm
project
Don't say his
manager.
name.
I'm not saying his name, but he became the project manager of.
I think he told us this because we were both chilling together when we were doing the project over in Madison County. And he was saying,
Yeah, just
he didn't want to. It's just a thing. Getting clues.
they're gonna like triangulate and just show up outside.
But he said he originally didn't want to hire you, and it was the other girl who was like, give him a shot, because he's like, yeah, this guy literally said during his interview that he just plays video games all day, and now we're asking him to do a physical job. Mm-hmm. Remember? But he's like, I didn't want to hire her, and it was what's her nuts that.
Was it the secretary?
Maybe.
Oh, so yeah. What was his name? Our team lead's fiance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, she was cool. But I mean, it's also a thing where like I've been blessed where every job I've ever interviewed for, I've gotten.
Yeah.
And like, there's been jobs I've had that I have nothing on my resume that says I should be at this fucking job.
Almost every job.
The thing is I had a physical job before PPW.
Really? You don't ever remember a job interview where they just didn't call you back or hire you?
No. Every job I've interviewed for, I've been at least offered the job.
There was one specifically that I remember. It was Applebee's. That I did not get. I went in for that interview, and I remember leaving that. I remember going into the interview thinking, I might be too high to walk in the door here for this interview. I remember thinking even before I got in my car to leave for that interview,
I've never had that because
I shouldn't smoke this weed before I go to this interview, and I did. And I smoked it excessively, and then I went to the interview, and I remember getting out of my car, and I remember going, I'm too high for this interview. Then I remember getting into the interview and thinking, do I smell like boof right now? How much do I smell like boof? And to what extent?
So you're just paranoid most of the interview, and so you couldn't really focus.
I was focused on the interview. Then I get to the interview, and the guy's asking me all sorts of questions, and I'm like, I can either fabricate or I can lie. And he's like, have you ever worked in a restaurant before?
Is there a difference? You said you could either fabricate or lie. I feel like those are the same.
I can either fabricate or I can tell the truth. And I was like, I'm just going to be honest. And he's like, you ever worked in a restaurant before? And I'm like, yes. He's like, have you ever been a server? And I was like, no. He's like, do you have a good memory? And I was like, what was the question? Like everything was not the way it was supposed to be.
That was so fucking perfect. I was like, I could either fabricate or lie. I was like, so lying was the only option?
Yeah.
That was fucking good. But yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of jobs where like I didn't expect to get a call back. Mm-hmm. Like I had a job where I became like a mechanic, but nothing on my resume was mechanic experience.
No.
I'm really good at talking my way into people, like with the job you said, where like one didn't want to, but like somebody else was like, give him a shot. But even said before that, I had a physical job. But I worked it while I started there, and I quit that job eventually to full time.
What was it?
Amazon. I was delivering Amazon packages.
That's right,
So I was driving around, delivering packages, doing just as much physical exertion.
I worked for Panini's before that, didn't I?
I don't remember what you worked before.
I think I worked for Panini's and I just quit.
But like I was working both because I took that job originally because I wasn't getting the hours at Amazon. And then Amazon picked up when COVID hit because people couldn't go to the stores.
I wasn't getting respected enough as the culinary chef that I was in the Panini's restaurant.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen the chicken nuggets and like fries that you cook, man. They're bomb.
I can make the best fucking microwave oatmeal too.
Hell yeah,
dude! You have no idea.
But that's why I started there. I started there
there.
because I wasn't getting the Amazon hours, and so we interviewed, and we had the interview, and then we had our first day of orientation, and then I don't know. I'm guessing they called you the next day like they did me, and they're like, listen.
Oh yeah, it was like next day or day.
They're like, we're gonna have to hold off on continuing orientation because of COVID. We can't operate, and they had to like go get the like the vouchers saying that they were an essential business.
Yeah.
So we literally like got hired and then laid off immediately because of COVID. And like thankfully I had Amazon, so I still had work.
I collected unemployment for a minute.
Yeah,
until they called
and said
2
that
weeks later.
yeah. And they're
were
like,
like,
we're good to go.
Well, they said we're going to start bringing in groups of what, 20?
It wasn't even like 20.
It was less than that, or
'Cause-
10. You can only have 10
yeah.
people in a room together. And they
Yeah.
said we have to do it in groups of 10.
And then we were like
didn't-
spread out like throughout this whole garage because we had to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah,
That was such an
was a
it was
huge
it was
garage.
a weird orientation.
very strange.
And I think we were like,
Everything was sanitized too. They
And,
had to
like,
wipe everything down.
do you remember like out of
fogging
our
it all
group,
up.
we were like the only two that made it through the season.
Yeah, we were the only two that came back.
I think what his name Juan left. He moved. He went to the because they opened that new location. I think he went down to that one, the Columbus or Cincinnati
It
spot.
was a cool job, man.
But yeah, I mean, it was fine.
It was cool.
It was the
The only
beginning.
thing
It was
that
all
scared
right.
me were the chemicals and the fact that we had to do all the jobs by ourselves.
Yeah, and
Like,
mine was the
Be on a
heights.
20-foot ladder by myself, bro. If I fall and there's no one there to like,
Yeah, that was the thing. The heights is what got me. I'll say it on record. Heights fuck me up.
yeah.
Like I don't do well on them, and
I don't do well.
they'd
at
send you out and be like, "I need you to do this 3-story roof,"
and you're out.
and I'm like, "No,
I
send
don't-
someone else."
I don't like being doused in chemicals, drinking them, getting them in my eyes, and or spraying them on stuff.
My favorite time at that was when we were doing the offsite shit.
That was great.
when we
Dude,
were
that was so much
that
fun.
was, like, dude, I still have videos that come up in like some of my old phone and shit where we were ripping it in the fucking the ATV shit, the fucking side by sides,
Oh yeah,
just full speeding it
See,
through
I
the
forgot
fucking
about this.
the grounds.
I forgot about doing that on the grounds.
Yeah, the trucks and the side by sides.
cutting
We were
trees
just
down and stuff.
there's a video on my old Facebook that is still me standing on the roof of that one shed when we were cleaning the shed roof off because the branches were on top of it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, it was the most like unsafe way to get up there because we like parked the truck close, climbed on the ladder rack of the truck, and then climbed onto the roof.
But I had a very peaceful Zen moment up there too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sick spot. Like the whole campground was amazing.
It's beautiful.
But
they
that-
turned it into something, right?
It's like a
Winery
you can
or a
no, it's
wedding venue. And
it's like a venue place. You can rent it out. They like renovated all the cabins and stuff, so you can like rent it for like events and
it was
shit.
an old Boy Scout camp.
So, but I thought that was like that was a cool experience, getting paid to like go up there.
That was cool.
And we were to the point where like we knew what was going on up there, so like we were like the group that always went. Like when they were doing that like every like all week, like it was you and me and like a handful of other guys.
Yeah.
That
get
were up
extra
there.
Hours doing it too.
Yeah, we were just up there all the time, and that was awesome.
Getting sun, chilling. They
Literally
bring us
like
food and stuff.
blasting music.
They
Just
did take good care of us too. I feel bad about the way I left that place, but I was so fed up with just constantly doing jobs.
they took care of us there
To a degree.
at that spot.
Yeah.
When you were doing the regular work, you were just kind of treated as like make it happen.
Well, it was all about money, and it's like
Yeah.
go out there and get these jobs and make these sales and do the jobs, but then, you spend all this time like they want you to add on an extra. You're there to do, let's say, $800 worth of work.
It was a sales job without being advertised as a sales job.
You add on an extra $750 worth of stuff to do, and then they don't send anybody to help you do it. Then you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do it yourself too, and then it's like,
I would always if I sold something, if I would sell roofs, but I would always schedule them out because I hated doing roofs.
So someone else would get
Unless it was like a ranch style house. But like all that concrete and shit like that, I love doing concrete. Concrete was like the most peaceful shit to me.
Yeah, concrete was cool. You just throw on your headphones and stuff. And here's the deal: I could do that. I would still do all that stuff if I had someone to back me up on a ladder, and if I didn't have to deal with a chemical that was actually harmful to my health.
I would have done all of it if it wasn't for the roof stuff.
Really? You still would deal with the chemical?
The chemicals never bothered me.
They're so bad for you.
Eh.
You know? It's just like so bad. You know, you have to inhale it when it's blown.
This is real healthy for me too.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of things that I do that are really healthy for me. I smoke excessive amounts of
the wacky tobacco. But yeah, I mean, but back to what I said, like I've had every job I've interviewed for, but like that mechanic job, I was the one I had. It's where I left the pressure washing place to go to.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing, and like the only experience I had with any sort of mechanical stuff was working on the motors of the pressure washers, because I would fix all my own stuff on the road.
I was terrible with those. I'd get shocked a lot.
Or the job I had before that, I worked in a factory making like steel truck rims, and I was responsible for also doing all the mechanical part, like swapping parts out. So like I had that, and then I worked on my own vehicles and shit growing up. So I just like put that all into my like conversation with her, and she was like opening this plant up. So she had one dude there, no one else knew how to work on these machines, and she was like, "I'm gonna give you a shot," and brought me in. And then she's like, "We're gonna bring you in as just a regular operator and have you like, we'll see how the like how you catch on." And like within a couple of months, you know, I caught on, a couple of weeks actually. Then I ended up, you know, becoming like the mechanic, and then kind of like a second shift supervisor. Though granted, like I've talked to her about it, the old boss, the old owner, and like that unfortunately, like after COVID, they shut back down because there wasn't demand for what we were making. We were making face masks and stuff. But I didn't really make a great supervisor because I'm not a very like confrontational person. So I wasn't very like hard and strict and like on them. Like we still made quotas and got shit done, but like there's definitely people that would have been more
what was your job title?
I don't remember what my official title ever was, because I was second shift like supervisor, but also like second shift mechanic.
Yeah.
But also
because I want to say
an operator.
The most managerial job title I've ever had was GM, general manager of Journeys.
Yeah. I've been a supervisor I was a department manager at Walmart years, like 10 years ago now. So like I was a manager of a whole department.
Yeah.
It was a toy department of a Walmart. Like that's a pretty big department in that store. I was 19. No one that was in my department wanted to listen to a 19-year-old kid.
When you were 19 years old, what year was it?
It was 2014.
And what was the pay?
I made $9.35 an hour as a department manager.
And what's minimum wage right now?
I think minimum wage is like 7 something anymore still.
Is
but
it 7 or 8 something?
I'm not sure at this point.
We should know this. We should know what minimum wage is.
I haven't made,
as Americans.
Luckily, minimum wage in a long time.
Does anybody else know off the top of their head what minimum wage is? Think of it before we look it up. Tell us. Don't look it up yourselves.
$10.45. At least in our state. In our state, it's $10.45.
Yeah.
I don't know what is that a
non-tipped employees $5.25 per hour
for tipped employees. So like waitresses and stuff.
Yeah.
And then non-tipped
$10 per hour for non-tipped employees and $5.05 per hour for tips.
So it just got bumped up 35 cents.
Oh yeah, it's $10.45 now. Okay. Hell yeah.
But that's not bad, but it's also, and with inflation, it's not good.
It's minimum wage.
Yeah. But I made $9.35 in 2014 as department manager. I left that job.
What do you feel like a living is? In order for a person to even make a living, working, let's say you have
40 hours. 40-hour week.
$20 an hour?
Like if you think a typical like apartment, you're looking at least in this area, $800 to $1,100 for apartment. That's like a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Just because like I looked a lot. Like
I pay $745 and I have a 2-bedroom in Medina.
But it's all about where you're going, and you really like to just throw names out there.
I mean, who cares at this point? What are you gonna sue us over in Anvil City?
It's less about the suing and more about people get crazy.
Yeah. You can find me at
But we'll cut. We'll hey,
go fuck yourself.
We'll cut that. But anyways,
I can't figure out where to look.
I'm just looking at you or back at the camera. Like it doesn't.
I look at the screen sometimes.
Well, I mean that's fine too because it's technically like it's our. So as a behind the curtain type of thing, we have the camera and we have a TV below the camera is like a monitor, so we can keep an eye on our stuff. We can also pull things up as references and shit like that. So I got the keyboard and mouse on the little table here. But so if you see us looking like below the camera, that is why. So like it's gonna take us some time to get used to looking at the camera because that's like an odd thing. It's an inanimate object to make eye contact with. And
it's the direction in which I'm looking at you.
And a lot of you may not be looking at us in video. So if you're just listening to us in audio, excuse us talking about video stuff. I apologize. Video quality is probably going to be bull because we don't have the best camera at this point.
Don't have a great camera right now. It's going to be trashy when you expand, when you get it bigger.
But, you know, it is what it is. But back to topic here. But rent, like you're saying, like what I think a livable wage. So it's
I would say 40.
So if you look at 40-hour week, rent. Let's just go with 800. Nice, somewhere in the middle for years. And like I pay just under 1,000, but I guess I have a house. So if you think let's go 800. That's just rent. Then you've got bills, and if you don't have like gas and like electric included, you're probably looking at another $200 a month.
You got a phone bill, you got an internet bill, right?
Yeah, but it was like
gas,
livable.
Sewer, electric could be included, could not be included.
So let's go with $200 a month for internet and gas, like for the house. So you think $200, so it's $1,000 there. Gas for the month.
Groceries.
If you have a standard like sedan, you're probably looking at $60 a week in gas if you're driving to and from work all the time.
Car payment if you haven't paid off your car.
Yeah, but so like $60, so that's $300. Well, $250. So we're at $1,250. Then you've got groceries. You're probably looking at $100 a week. Yeah, $100 a week, so another $400. So you're $1,600. Then you've got, like you said, like the miscellaneous stuff. So you're probably looking at $1,800 to $2,000 a month.
I would say you'd want $2,500 a month to live.
So that's take home. You got to think of
take home $2,500 a month.
So that divided by 4 is you're looking at like $650 a week. So before taxes, you got to be able to probably make around $900 to $1,000 to bring home $650 with a, I mean, probably closer to.
So you'd have to make $20 an hour at 40 hours a week.
No, because that's only $800. You probably need to make 24, 25.
25 at 40 hours.
Yeah, because 25 would put you up to like 900 a week. Yeah, 25 times 4. No, maybe 1,000. Yeah, $25. We'll put an hour would put you at like $1,000 before taxes.
Which is wild because when you think about it, the average person makes way less than $25 an hour.
Oh yeah,
way less.
And that's why there's so many people that rely on like government help. And like I know
but
it's
you
like
can't get the government help unless you make way under that.
I know, and that's like it's like
even qualify for government help.
It's like a fuck thing. But it's also why a lot of people don't work 40 hours. People work 50, 60 hours a week.
I know.
Because overtime kicks in.
I won't say where I work right now, but I make $21.25 an hour, and I work an average of 32 hours a week. And even that, $21.25 an hour, or 32 hours a week. Even if I worked 40 hours a week, it still would not be to the point where I could live lavishly or live even like very comfortably.
Yeah, and this is why, like I said, it's hard. I said for a lot of people, and I get it. And like I said, like I'm blessed to have a good job,
Yeah.
but it wasn't always that way.
No, for sure.
I
Money
mean,
comes and goes.
there was times I lived in my car at one point.
But just to put things in perspective in general, it's like it's wild to think that you would need about $25 an hour at 40 hours a week to live really well. Or
Not even really well.
Even really well. Live
Comfortably.
Comfortably. Just
To
live
like
comfortably.
And that's not even like saving
To
a
not
lot.
have to worry about really too much. To not have to constantly like rack your brain over a bill or something. You'd really need to make about $25 an hour, 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I would say that percentage of people who make that, it's got to be under 50.
Which is also why it's like, as much as like, there's the whole thing of like single people being homeowners and single people living on their own, people struggling. Like the 2-income household is almost like more necessary now than I think than ever.
Oh yeah.
Because like before, like I grew up with like my grandparents. Like for a long time, like they both worked, but then in the more recent time, it was just my grandfather. Like my grandmother didn't work. Like she had like off and on things. Like she was like real estate when I was growing up, and then there was like a little time where she worked like a diner or something. But other than that, she was just home.
And how many hidden fees would you say that your grandparents had to deal with on a daily basis? Any hidden fees or anything like that? Anything where like, let's say they have a membership to something that constantly renews that they forget about, or
I don't know.
Maybe have to
Like now, I don't know. I mean, I know they have like cable and stuff.
I mean, now you can buy a Apple Watch, and you can't even use your Apple Watch unless you pay for the Apple Watch service.
Thankfully, like they're not very technical. Like my grandfather has a computer. I got him into a couple computer games and stuff growing up. I grew up playing like Age of Empires and stuff with him on the computer.
But my point is this: their generation,
but they
also didn't constantly have.
But yeah, they had less
stuff to subscribe to, and they didn't have all these ads in your face for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you pay for YouTube, you have an ad before every second or third song plays. Sometimes 2 of them. And you're lucky if you get to skip it after 5 seconds. So you're just constantly being...
Absolutely. And it said like, it's definitely, I said that's why like the inflation thing is such a big conversation. And like, because it's definitely different, but it's also like the whole conversation about like housing and how everyone's like, well, I don't understand why you guys can't buy houses and stuff. And it was like houses, like, say a house that's worth $200,000 right now was probably worth $40,000 when our grandparents were looking at buying houses.
Yes, but their money also wasn't.
Yeah, but it's also like I know houses that someone had bought within the last 10 years, and if they could, like, if they tried to buy like that same house, it's like 4 times the price to buy the same thing within 10 years.
And the interest rates and everything too.
Or through the roof. Like there was somebody I was watching, and is a YouTuber, and he has the video he put. So I'm gonna say it's he's Pirate Software is his YouTube and stuff. And he was talking about, he was like an old game dev, worked for like Blizzard and shit. But he was talking about his house. He's like, and I bought it, at this price for this interest rate. And he's like, it's locked in at that interest rate and stuff. He's like, if I bought that same house right now, the lowest rate, like he locked it in at like a 2% rate or some shit. He said the lowest he could buy it now is like a 5.5%, and like the house is like priced at a bigger price too.
Oh yeah.
He's like I couldn't afford my house if I bought it now.
Bro, even when I financed that Kia out there, bought it in 2020, it was a 2021, right? I locked in at 5-something% interest rate. I've paid off more than 3/4 of that car. And if I were to still refinance it right now, the lowest they'd get me is like 14%.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is crazy. Like I got mine is like a 5 or 6 on the truck.
Yeah. Man, I'm at 5-point-something%. But if I were to refinance it, having paid off 3/4 of the vehicle already, still all they could give me is a 14% interest rate. And it's just, it's wild. There's no way I would do that.
It is, and it's crazy. And I said, like, I'm lucky to said I have a nice career.
Yeah.
But it's also like even that, like there's still a thing of like I wasn't taught finance in any aspect. Like
No, in fact, you're a rather frivolous spender.
yeah, I'm bad at spending. I spend more money than I should. I'm dumb shit. Like I collect Magic the Gathering cards. There's way more than I need in this house. I have like a couple decks built, and then I have a tote of just cards.
Yeah, but in your defense, you bought so many of those cards, and they all came together in a giant thing.
Yeah, but it's still like I haven't touched that tote in months.
No, I mean technically you could sell what you weren't going to use out of it.
Yeah, but I mean there's also like the idea of buying packs and not knowing what you're going to get. It's gambling in an aspect.
Well, we all have our vices.
But there's also
You spend money on things
my
you're
fucking
interested
computer and the amount of video games and the money I've definitely spent on video games and
in.
like
Susan Orman would fucking hate us both, bro.
who?
Suze Orman or something like that. Isn't that her name? She's like that finance person. Always talking
I don't
about
look at finance shit.
Yeah.
I should. I
always-
should look at
always
finance
get,
stuff.
I always get two people mixed up. There's like the finance individual, and I feel like her name is Susan Orman or something. But then there's like the talk sex person, and I feel like she has a similar name. So I could be mixing them up. Suze Orman. Okay, there she is.
Yeah, an American financial advisor.
advisor and author. Now, who's the one who was on Talk Sex? Vaseline is gasoline. That's what I always remember. Don't use Vaseline as lube because it's gasoline. It will eat away your condom.
Sue Johnson.
Sue Johnson? Is that what her name is? Talk Sex with Sue Johansson.
Johansson.
Yeah. So there's Suze Orman, and then there's Sue Johansson. Talk Sex with Sue Johansson.
Look at that. You can watch
Dude, I'm
Sue
telling you,
talk
pull
with
up
a.
something with her and listen to what she says. She'll pull out
Well-
dildos and stuff. It's all
I like how it's on a YouTube channel called
Sex
Banger
educator, look at that.
Films.
There she is. YouTube Banger Films. Sex
Banger
with Sue's
Films.
trailer.
That's fucking
90 years
hilarious.
Pulling out a pink dildo.
Oh,
man.
that's fucking great,
See if you can find a
man.
picture of her naked.
What the fuck?
Yes. I'm curious.
Oh
I
my
need to know.
god. You can look it up on your own time, not put that on my fucking
You
computers.
should check it out. Everybody look it up. I'm telling you. It's worth it.
Oh
Used to be out
god.
late at night. Dude, I'm telling you.
Sue, either one of
leave the
you,
channel
come
on,
on the show. Come on the show. Both,
fucking
either one of
leave
you.
Nick
You're
at
welcome.
Night on all night.
You're welcome
Nick
to
at
come on
Night
the show.
band, Talk Sex with fucking Sue Johansson would pop on. You'd wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, what the fuck is this? Your parents would walk in. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything. Leave me
I
alone.
just know. It's an infomercial.
I was
Okay.
watching QVC 5 minutes
It's
ago.
fucking- it was a music
Dude,
video, I
computer,
swear.
like old
Fucking Prince was
TV
on.
was a wasteland after like 9 p.m.
Oh, dude, you'd have what? Girls Gone Wild would pop up?
Dude, there'd be like MTV was a fucking night. Like it was a hellscape. Fucking Scarred and shit when that would come on.
You'd want to stay up a little bit later.
Yeah, but like Scarred as a kid, being like 6, 7 years old, and there's just shows on the TV watching people's bones just sticking out of their body
Snapping.
at like 6 years old.
Fucking femur coming. I think this is where you're something. I'm not.
Think femurs here
Femur, you're. I'd lose.
because I think femur's the biggest one. I think it's this. It's the bone in your like thigh. I don't know. I didn't go to medical school.
femur
I'm fucking
care.
stupid. All right.
Their bones would.
But like that was just on TV. Like you didn't have to pay for that. You just got on the right channel at the right time and you were just watching fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Now like, that shit all comes with like an age warning and you have to like verify that you're old enough to be watching it. Like the account has to be like you have to have your age date.
It made it more special because you had to wait for it to come on. It wasn't like nowadays where I
Yeah,
can
but you
just
have to
type in-
sneak for it to come on.
Type in titties, you know.
Yeah, you can just find anything you want on the
I
internet
get
now.
titties all day
You can
long.
watch someone get decapitated on the fucking
Back
internet.
in the day, if I wanted to see titties and they were censored titties still,
Dude,
would
I remember
wait and
being
stay
a
up
kid,
and watch
I-
the Girls Gone Wild infomercials.
I would sneak. I had Animal House. The
movie?
the DVD,
Yeah.
like the original DVD of Animal
Belushi or
House,
something like that.
and I would wait till I was home alone, and I would watch like the specific scenes where there was tits,
Yeah.
and then like, but it was like it was like a covert operation. Like I would have like windows open in the back so I could hear a car pull in the driveway, so I could just take the DVD player out and like put Power Rangers in.
There was nothing like titties before you've ever actually really seen it.
Right? Like, but like that was the thing. It was like a covert operation to see a pair of tits in a old ass movie. That and Euro Trip were the two movies. And you've seen both of those?
Dude, I can safely say I've watched porn on a Nintendo DS.
Hell yeah. But like,
you don't think when the PSP and the DS were coming out with internet capabilities,
I didn't have
wasn't on that shit?
I didn't have either one
I
of them.
didn't have a laptop at that age, bro.
Well, I didn't have either one of those
We
either.
were just getting cell phones in high school.
Yeah, I had my first phone was the brick, the Nokia brick.
Yeah, dude. I don't think I had a cell phone until like my junior year of high school, bro.
I was about
17.
Mine was 8th grade, freshman year, but I was working like outside of school.
I was like 17 years old when I got my first cell phone.
Yeah, I was working for a friend of the family's, like helping him. I was doing like mowing and like weed whacking. He owned a business, and I was like weed whacking and mowing the property for him.
Really?
Like when my mom was working, I would go down there, and like I'd spend the day there, and I'd get paid like $100 for doing the whole property. It was a pretty big property and shit. But when you were 8th grade, like $100 is a fucking like you felt rich.
Yeah.
You fucking walk out of that bitch like I'm fucking the shit, bro.
Yeah.
And then you go buy a fucking straight talk. At that point, it wasn't straight talk. It was just track phone. It was before straight talk became a thing.
When
it was
you got
just
money when you were growing up. What would you do with your money?
I buy the phone, minutes and shit for it. Because back then it was track phone. You had to pay like per minute and like per
I was
text.
on my family's plan and stuff.
Well, we didn't have family plan. My mom had her phone, and then like I bought that, but you bought by the minute.
So when I got money, bro, I would walk to Kmart.
Yeah.
Back when Kmart was a thing. And Kmart was the only place you could buy a parental advisory CDs, and they wouldn't ID you.
Yeah, I didn't
So
really
that's where I
buy
made
many
it go.
CDs. I had like the iPod Nano, like the first generation iPods and shit.
Yeah.
And like we would sit there with a really slow ass internet, and like my brother had all the music. He was like the music guy. And then like I'd find ways to get music, and then I'd have CDs and like burn them onto the computer, then put them on the iPod, like old. And like I was listening to like Creed and shit like that back then. So like that was what my iPod was. But that shit, like I would charge that all day to like have a long enough charge to like mow the yard. And if it died in the
Nothing
middle
like
of mowing,
listening to-
I would stop mowing until I had my music
We had a
recharged.
riding lawnmower, and you know we had like 3 acres of grass.
Yeah, I had the push mower.
Oh, dude, this was like a skid steer type thing. I mean, you just like this.
Oh, the zero turn?
zero turn.
See,
Put
I
on
had.
the noise canceling headphones with your headphones in.
Oh, so you look like the stereotypical, like the movie of like the dad doing the yard work.
Yeah.
Like the fucking bright ass like safety one. Just like,
It was great. It was
you know,
great.
we had the push mower. Like it was self propelled, so you'd like squeeze it and it would like kind of pull itself.
Yeah.
But we had to walk behind it, and like if it got stuck, you had to still help push it. Like it was self propelled, but it didn't really
At
pull
least
itself.
you had an iPod, man. Because I'll tell you what, back in the day when we had CD players and shit like that.
Well,
first
I started with the CD player.
and they would skip.
I
You'd have to
started
get
with
the-
that.
Oh man, they'd.
And if the iPod was dead, I still had that.
Yeah.
And then I had like the boombox with the CD, like you put it on top and closed it, and then it would skip too. Like if somebody like walked upstairs and the fucking house did a little bit of a shake, then your fucking boombox skips.
Oh man, like carry a CD player on you though, you know, and have a good one.
Oh yeah,
It didn't
and
skip, and could
you had to
run
have the
and
hoodie
jog
with the
it.
big front pocket.
What was it called when they didn't skip? It was called like anti.
It was anti-skip.
Nah, it wasn't even called anti-skip. It was called something else though. Forget what it was called. Anti-shock.
Yeah, anti-shock.
Anti-shock technology. So your CD doesn't skip the laser disc.
Fucking these
You can
motherfuckers,
jog
man.
With it. Yeah.
These
Anti-shock
fucking
CD
bitches,
players.
dude. Look
See
at this.
those Panasonic ones and they'd clip on the sides
Yeah.
up there? I fucking loved that.
Yeah, dude. I had these fucking. I remember these. Look at how much they fucking are because they don't make them more. They're fucking to find one that works. Hundreds of dollars they sell for,
That
bro.
one's $300 JVC personal CD player.
But like I remember, like this is the shit we had. I remember these two. Like I had one of these too, and then I had like the original. I think it was an iPod Nano. Yeah, one of these, like the original one.
Man, some of them bitches sell fat. Wow.
But yeah, like I remember having like it wasn't no 8. It was like one of like the fucking small ass. Like I had one of these, and I had one of these ones.
I kind of liked how those felt. They were just so small.
These ones were, I'd lose it all the fucking
Well,
time.
those little ones are no. I had the iPhone.
One of these ones, I mean, this is a Nano too. That was a thing. Like they were both called Nanos, but they were like completely different designs.
The Nanos were so light still that you would lose them.
I never lost this.
I lost my Nano.
I lost this motherfucker all the time.
I remember where I was.
The
in
fucking
CVS
tiny square
parking
ones.
lot, and it was snowing outside. And I opened the car door and it went flying out, and I couldn't find it. Looked all through the snow.
But like, so I had that. But like, that's how we had to mow the lawn. Was the self-propelled like push mower with like your like the wired headphones through your shirt so it wouldn't get caught. And like you'd have it in your pocket, but it would always times like it would like work its way out of your pocket. So I had to wear jeans that were tight so it would hold it in the pocket. Because if I had like gym shorts, they would just like work its way out of my pocket.
It's tragic, man.
The first world problems.
Can't have that.
But no, I that's where I would spend my money on was my phone shit, because it was like track phone, so you paid by the minutes, and then you had to wait till like after 9 to make phone calls and shit.
Oh yeah.
That fucking life.
I remember dial up too. I remember you couldn't even like fucking call someone's landline when they were on the internet. But do you know if Walmart still sells parental advisory CDs or they don't? Do they sell them now?
I think they still sell.
Walmart did not sell. They would sell rated R movies, but you couldn't get an explicit content album at Walmart because they were a family store. We don't sell explicit content. But it's like, yeah, we'll sell rated R movies. So that's fine.
The clean version.
Walmart does not edit CDs. They only receive music with the appropriate content. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell it.
Yeah, so they get the clean versions.
They get clean versions of CDs.
Wow. So remember FYE?
You can't, for your entertainment.
Yeah, FYE
Isn't
was
that
like
wild. You can't go to Walmart and get an actual album. It's going to be the clean version of the album.
Yeah, you'll never see an album with a parental advisory sticker.
Yeah. Walmart doesn't sell them.
Fuck Walmart.
So you can't go buy your it's got to change how much music they sell, right? Or they just know how your kids want to go buy music. Fine.
They're just gonna put Taylor Swift shit out and sell that bitch.
Well, yeah, a lot of people's stuff doesn't have that.
But I mean, honestly, too, like there's not a lot of like mainstream music that comes out with parental advisory anymore. The mainstream stuff that like Walmart would sell.
All right, let's pull up top 10 albums right now, and let's see of the top 10 albums out right now, how many have a parental advisory sticker on them? Because I'm curious. I need to know this stuff. He's typing it in. Boom. Best albums of 2024.
Don't even know who that is.
Bill Ryder Jones. What a kid.
Smile. Like, I don't know any of these.
I don't know what this is. This is kind of scary.
We'll go 2024 or 2023 because this year is pretty young. I don't think anybody big has really put out a whole lot this year.
That's so wild. I don't know what any of that was.
Top 100. We'll see what the top 10 are. So top.
You're going all the way down. This is Rolling Stone that we're looking at.
Yeah. It's only 50. Well, here I can.
Or you could even do like top 10 hits.
So Zach Bryan, country.
Victoria Monet. I don't know
But
if it will
like
show you that they're parental advisor or not on there, but
Billy Woods and Kenny Skulls, not going to be explicit stuff. Mitski, not really going to have explicit stuff like parental advisory. Paramore is not going to.
No.
Olivia Rodrigo, parental advisory.
That one is.
So that's 1.
So 1 of 5. Lil Yachty.
Yachty's 2.
That's 2.
No.
Well, you don't know. We don't even know what that is.
It's tiny, but they've been showing it.
Oh, they did show Yachty. Okay.
So
2.
none. Boy Genius, no. And SZA.
2 of 10.
So like they can put SZA's out and Boy Genius, and Taylor's about to put one out this year, and like that's gonna be fucking
2 of 10. I wonder how many. Look up. Okay, what were the top 10 of 2016.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the,
Or 2006, rather.
but here, like 14 was another parental advisory.
Okay, so nowadays, maybe not. What were the top 10 of 2006?
2006?
Yeah. And let's see how many in that, because I feel like...
Some of the top albums. 25 best albums of 2006.
There's one right from the get-go. The Strokes, Parental Advisory.
Yeah, but 2006 was also fucking... You didn't go to Walmart for your CDs.
Let's see. Kooks, okay. Arctic Monkeys.
Gossip.
Placebo, Meds, that's Parental Advisory. I have that. It's definitely Parental Advisory.
Yeah. Streets.
Gnarls Barkley. I find it hard to believe that's not. Snow Patrol.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That one definitely is. Yeah, they're not going to show them. Hot Chips. Primal Scream, that one is. Muse, I think so. Lily Allen for sure. Tom York for sure. Fratellis, yeah, definitely.
I don't know any of these.
Amy Winehouse, definitely. My Chemical Romance is.
My Chemical Romance, like you could get at Walmart.
Huh?
I got My Chemical Walmart.
Yeah,
Romance
but you're still getting a clean version of it. You would have to. You know how many times you say the F word in that album?
But yeah, I mean, but it said like Walmart was never the place to go for CDs.
True.
They were always like you go there for like, and they only really started selling, I think, a decent amount of CDs and like vinyls.
Their collection of CDs was way bigger. Nowadays you don't have.
But I mean, the collection of CDs available in general was bigger then.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So few people actually release CDs.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, nowadays
it's
no
all
one's
streaming.
Really shopping for CDs, you can get it online.
You have to like special order the CD. And it's like a novelty thing now instead of a used object. It's more of a novelty.
That was all you listened to. You didn't have
yeah.
the other stuff.
But I'm saying, but then that's why things like FYE and stuff like that were so big because they had the market. Most of those have either gone out of business or they've changed what they sell.
Yeah.
Like you go into an FYE, it's still some CDs and vinyl. But it's more of like you go there for vinyl collectors
Band
go
stuff.
there, or band tees and shit now. They're like a hot topic, almost, where it's just band tees, band merch.
Even Hot Topics changed so much.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
Sun makes me sad when I go in there now.
all of them fucking like the original. Like you used to go into like a what's the Z
Zoomies.
the Zoomies, like they're all just the same shit now. But it's just that's what it is. It's all been so streamlined.
Malls are dying.
Oh, malls are fucking falling like flies. And like, but most stores are like Walmart. Like COVID also fucked a lot of it up.
It used to be 24 hours, dude. You could go in Walmart anytime.
When I worked there, it was 24 hours. But COVID showed companies that they didn't need to be 24 hours. Walmart realized that they could still be profitable without being open 24 hours. Because they'd still get the same amount of customers. And as long as nobody else is open 24 hours, they don't need to be. And no one else is. Like the latest is like a Myers out here, and they open till midnight.
Yeah.
And Walmart's like, we'll just close at 11. Well, it's an hour different, and we'll open back up at 6. And like, if you want your stuff, you're still going to come to Walmart. So they didn't really lose income. They just got more time to stock without people being in there. And they could cut down on their labor. For a couple hours a day, they only had to have stockers in. They didn't have to have cashiers and stuff.
The only difference is your third shift people.
Yeah, but I mean, the most third shift was stockers. So
No, but I mean like the people who work the schedules where they're up at night. You know?
Yeah, but that's the thing is it still doesn't impact Walmart.
Not probably.
Because they're open late enough and open up early enough where third shift still has a window to get in.
Yeah.
Because they close at 11. So if you're off or whatever, you still have a chance to get in before work or
Third shift starts
after
when?
work. Depends. Usually it was like it was like 11 p.m. at the last place I worked. I had a third shift. So it was like first shift was like, I worked second and it was 2 to 11. And then third shift was like 11 to like.
See, I worked like 7 to 3.
Because it was 8-hour shifts. So so it was like 6 to 2
Ours
was
7 to
first.
3.
So it'd been 11 to 6, 11 to 7, some shit like that. And like there was like a little bit of an overlap sometimes, but
I feel like genuine third shift, if you think about it, they close at 11. If they close at 11, and you're working anywhere from 10 to 11, you got to be at work. You're 10 to 11.
yeah, you had to go in before work.
You'd have to go in before work.
Or when you got off work. When you got off work at like 5, 6 a.m.
Third shift's tough, man. You got to adjust your whole. My girlfriend works third shift. She's a fucking nurse, and it's like
So in a lot of medical, there's only 2 shifts. Because they're like 12-hour shifts.
yeah.
So it's usually 6 to 6 or 7 to 7, whether it's AM to PM or PM to AM.
7 to 7, bro,
Yeah.
and it's like
So it's, I mean,
Vampire.
I've worked. I mean, like,
She's a
in my
vampire.
schedule is fucked. I'm like a swing shift. I don't even have like a steady. Like, it's a little bit better now, but it's still like I start at like midnight.
I yawned, and you had to.
You fucked me all up.
I'm
Thanks.
sorry, bro.
But it was like midnight on a Wednesday. I head out, and then I'm like going to bed at like fucking middle of the afternoon, bright daylight out, and then I have to get back up at like fucking 1 a.m. and hit the road again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like my schedule's so weird. And then like I'll get back on like a Thursday around like anywhere from 4 to 7 p.m. And then I have to go home, immediately sleep, and be ready to be back on the road in 10 hours. That 10 hours includes the drive home, unpacking, getting packed up for the next trip out, showers. If I have to do laundry, I have to make sure I have all my laundry I need for the
What's
week.
the farthest you'll drive out?
I did 550 miles on Wednesday. I did 550 miles and 4 deliveries.
550 miles there, one way.
Yeah, that was just the first day.
But there and back is the 550?
No,
Or-
that was because I don't come back. It's a 2-day trip. I do 1,000 miles in 2 days. 1,000 miles in 7 stores in the first one, or 9 stores, and then the other route is it's like 800 miles and 7 stores. That's what I run. Like I said, like this morning, I woke up. It was last night, 11 p.m. I got up, hit the road, did 2 deliveries, and then drove 5 hours back.
So you've been up for how many hours now?
22 hours now.
How are you alive, bro?
This is like the 3rd one of these today.
It's just a yellow can.
Yep, it's toxic. It's liquid cocaine. I said the video I sent you. I was like, who needs sleep when liquid cocaine exists? I slept 4 hours before I woke up.
How many of those have you had?
3.
How many milligrams of caffeine are each one?
200. So 600 today.
What would you say a safe dose of caffeine in a 24-hour period for a human being is without looking it up?
I think 600.
Now look it up.
I think it's like 600 in like a 24-hour period.
I'd be curious to know. Because Red Bull's really, like a small Red Bull really only has 80 milligrams of caffeine in it.
400.
I think now. 400 a day appears to be safe for most healthy adults. 3 of those energy drinks that contain 200 is too much energy, fellas and ladies. All you out there drinking that much caffeine, it's just too much.
So I might have fucked up.
Yeah, you've had too much
but
caffeine.
but it's just, I'm trying to fit everything into, and it's like this things that like we've talked about this, like I said, this whole podcast thing for so long, and like I know we're both excited about because we have this, and we're wanting to start the like other YouTube thing too.
We are. Oh no!
But like our schedules are like makes it hard.
It does make it hard, and
because like you've got kids, and our schedules, like my schedule and your schedule, is just we have weird schedules. This new schedule makes it easier for me, which is why I took it. Because I have more of a set time I'm off. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of when it lines up with yours. But it gives us like a 3-day window to fit a day in,
Yeah.
And we'll get a little bit better at, getting these recorded and doing things like that. And, unlike the other channel that we're wanting to get started, this is going to take less editing.
Yeah.
It's because it's just more general, just talking. Like we have to edit out you trying to, give away our location and our social security numbers.
Yes.
But that's also going to come with, getting used to not saying shit.
Yeah.
Because, getting used to this, it's going to take us some time.
It will.
But if you are watching this first episode and you've made it this far into it, the fuck is wrong with you, first of all? Second of all, thank you.
Yeah, for real. I mean,
But if there's, like you said, like there's going to be a lot of just us kind of bantering about shit. We might occasionally have some people on, guests, talk to them.
This will change too. The setup's going to change. We're going to have different chairs in here.
Yeah,
soon.
you'll see that. This is very temporary.
Very temporary.
I mean, like the rest of this is pretty steady, but this is going to be different. We might change the background up a bit.
We're definitely going to have to add something in the background here.
What, you don't like the fucking window, bro?
You don't like that half a window quarter of a window that you get to see right there? That's weird that, not even...
But yeah, I mean, like everything, a lot of things are going to change, but it's really going to come down to just, it's going to be a learning experience for everybody, for us, for the viewers.
Journey. It's a journey.
But I'm definitely excited to see where it goes.
I am too.
But, it's definitely a start.
I feel like one day we're going to look back at this
and we're going to cringe
and we're going to go
so hard.
Fucking God,
we're going to look at ourselves like, what the fuck?
What were we even doing?
Were we both high? I mean, in reality, I'm on like the verge of exhaustion, so I might be entering like slight hallucinations.
We weren't even gonna record today, so I mean,
the fucking tag is still on your seat. Like the chair still has the tag from the store on it. I just saw it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we weren't going to record. We literally set this whole room up today. And like I really thought it was gonna take longer. And like I said, there's still lots of tweaking that's gonna get done.
So much.
But I feel like we have a good base.
We do.
And
we
like
have a lot of equipment, and we got the equipment to even do this right now. The camera will get swapped out at some point for better quality.
But other than that, I mean, we have everything else we need. It's just really a matter of, some visual stuff. It's really a lot of visual stuff. It's going to really come down to it is, the set here. But as far as like our audio, the audio listeners, your experience might adjust a little bit as we get better with understanding audio. That's also going to be something that's going to kind of go up and down as we get better at it and setting things and setting limits and making sure everything records a nice, crisp, clear tone. Probably get somebody in here who understands audio a little bit better than us to kind of teach us some stuff at some point. But as far as, like I said, the only things that are really going to change is us being better at just having a flow to this. If there is a flow ever, it might just be fucking haphazard. But
mainly just visuals behind,
Yeah, just wanted to make it for the ones that do watch the video, we want it to be something that you enjoy watching. Not just two fucking weirdos passing out in camping chairs in a room. We're gonna have a little bit.
Try to look my best for you every opportunity.
Yeah, put a goddamn suit on. Be professional.
Suit and tie.
just one day we just come in here, suits, briefcases. Like, all right, time to get serious.
Hotter than this, I swear.
when I equip my 6-pack, I've definitely looked better.
You're gonna hit the barber up soon, though, right?
Yeah, get this mess.
His barber's rather expensive. Knows what he's doing. It's hard to get one that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to like a Great Clips and just get a fucking trim up.
Oh yeah, you want a little boy haircut? Go to a great place.
You want the stereotypical fade? Yeah. But my hair's getting longer than I want, and it's at the point where it's like I either commit to growing it out or cut it.
Commit. I'm gonna grow mine back. You missed it. I had crazy.
But if I grow mine out, I go fucking mountain man.
How many inches do you think my hair was before I just cut it all off?
I mean, I don't know. Your hair's so curly, it's so hard to fucking tell inches on it.
Well, before just with the curls.
I mean, it was volume wise, it was pretty
7-8 inches.
Yeah.
Curls.
You never saw me with my long hair.
Good 13 inches.
I donated. It was 14 inches at one point. I was 8th grade.
I was gonna say that's way before I met you.
Yeah, but I've had long hair.
Your beard
since then,
at one point might have been 14 inches when I met you.
My beard this is the longest my beard's ever been.
Really?
Yeah. It was very curly. I've been working on getting it so it's more straightened. But no, my beard's never really been long. This is about the biggest my beard's been. It's more of been fighting getting this to grow in steady. Filling it in properly now has been the project. But as far as I said, the future of this, it's gonna just kind of I think we want to aim for weekly episodes the best we can. I'm not sure when this episode will come out. It just depends on how fast I can get it prepped. But we also want to
3 years.
But we also want to make sure that we have content ready for the next week as well. So I think the next time the fuck are you doing? I just looked at the monitor, dude. What the fuck?
What?
But we want to be able to make sure we have the content lined up for weekly episodes. Once this is out, we should be getting lined up to be able to do that. That's going to be the goal. If we can get to the point where we can start getting in more episodes out for you, we will.
I really think you're going to like our new chairs. I just want to say that again.
I hope we like our chairs. I hope it's not we get them and then we're like, the fuck did we do?
Yeah.
And we hate it and we're just like, God damn it.
I hope we like them too.
But
stay tuned to see whether or not we like our new chairs.
If not, if you just see these, two of those chairs, you'll know we didn't like the other chairs.
Yeah, if you see 2 of these next time, then you know we didn't like them. But I'm really hoping that we do. And I think you ought to stay tuned just for that alone. Because it's really going to be something. Especially
you audio listeners. Stay tuned for our chairs.
If we fucking hate them, we're still going to film a video
of us
showing you how
being pissed off at our chairs.
And how much we don't like these.
But I also laughed at the come back for our chairs to the audio listeners. You definitely are here for the chair experience.
You're going to be like, sorry, you can't return these. You already filmed a full episode in them. And we saw it.
We saw it. But yes, so that's going to be about it. We've been here a little bit over an hour now. So I think we're going to call it there for the first episode.
Absolutely.
But definitely looking forward to more of this. It's going to be a learning process for sure. I feel like I was a little bit more nervous on how it was going to go, but I feel like we were able to kind of keep moving at a decent pace today.
We were able to talk for how long has it been?
Been an hour. A little over an hour now.
We have been talking for an hour straight, and we literally just decided to turn this thing on and just
and that's pretty much all it's gonna be. Is that's all I really wanted out of it. Is just genuine conversation, and what comes up, and interesting topics came up. We talked about some pretty serious stuff. We talked about some funny shit.
Rather than force it, might as well just.
We literally talked about the cost of living, titties, and CD players all in one fucking day.
And that's what you got to title it. Is just the cost of living with titties and CD players. I mean, who doesn't love all that? Anyway, thank you all. Seriously,
CD players plus titties equals cost of living?
It does.
Question mark?
Stay tuned for our title. Thanks for joining us.
But guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you. If you're following on, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. If there's anything you want us to talk about next time, let us know. We'll try to get to it. Whenever we can record next after seeing those.
Tell them what we're called one more time.
This again, we're slightly serious with Nick and Zayn, and I mean at this point you know that because you're listening to us and you've been here for an hour.
Yeah. Well, I even forgot for a minute. We just named ourselves.
Yeah, but you're fucking under the influence.
45 minutes. We named ourselves, 45 minutes max before we even recorded this?
Not even 45. Yeah, it was like a
Slightly
half hour.
Serious
They're
with
like,
Nick
all
and
right, sick. We
Zane.
got a name? Cool, let's record.
We're awesome. We're great. And we're only slightly serious.
Only slightly. But I mean, like, I think that's the thing is, like, it's always been our conversation is just, it's dumb shit, and then we'll have some serious shit, then it's dumb shit.
Yeah.
But we'll get into some more of those kind of stories. There's a lot more to talk about. But again, subscribe if you're listening on one of the listening platforms. Make sure you guys follow or subscribe. I don't know what it is on those different platforms. Make sure you save and keep an eye out for more episodes. But appreciate y'all. Thank you all again so much. And remember, kind of keep it slightly serious.